Hey, welcome back everybody. Check it out. Full bloom on this cherry tree. This thing is amazing. So cool. We're having a miniature heat wave that's coming here. It's gonna get up to like 85, I think, pretty soon. A couple days. Wow. It looks like every blossom is open. This cherry tree is a beast. I actually don't even know what variety it is. It had a tag on it, I think, when we moved in, and it like quickly ripped off. It's a sweet cherry though, and I think it might be a rainier, something like that, because it has kind of like a blush to it. It's not completely dark red. Got some bee activity out here today. And then this other cherry tree over here is also a sweet cherry. It ripens a little bit, I think, a little bit sooner than this one. And it's like a little bit darker. So I actually like this one a little bit better. But they're both good. So if the bees do their thing this year, we will have an absolute crazy amount of cherries to pull down again. And I think I'm probably going to do the same thing I was talking about earlier, which is maybe take one of these big branches, I don't know which one, and just chop it. It's unfortunate, but this tree is just enormous. Really nice day out today. Dogs are hanging out. Oliver's eating grass for some reason. Daisy's taking a walk. Beautiful day to be outside. So I actually heard from a person that lives in Eastern Washington yesterday. I chatted with him about growing cherries, because that apparently is one of the it's like the cherry growing area in the United States, I think. Anyway, he said that over in Eastern Washington they get like 8 inches of rain a year, so it's pretty deserty. And he said that whenever it rains, they actually fly helicopters over the trees to get rid of to like shake the water off of them, because he said that the water was absorbing into the fruit and making it crack. So he said that he lives near like one of the biggest cherry orchards in the country, and basically right after it rains, he said that they'll have like a helicopter fly over and just kind of like try to dry off the trees, which is kind of crazy, but I guess it makes sense. I heard from Ross Ratty a long time ago that he said that figs do basically the exact same thing. That they, if they get wet, the fruit will suck the water in and then crack. So pretty interesting. I don't think I can do that here because I don't have a helicopter. And I also don't have a tent big enough to cover this thing, because this thing is enormous. I might be able to do it with the little bush cherry over there. That would be an interesting experiment to see what happens. And my wife was like, we should take a leaf blower to it. But like what seems to happen often, at least here near Portland, is these will ripen around June, late June, I guess, sometime around that. And then it seems like almost every year we get like just nonstop rain for a couple days, and then they all crack. So it is what it is. If they split, I make different things out of them. So like if they're fresh, I'll use them for certain things, and if they split, I'll like dry them out. Dried cherries are great. Oh, dogs have been digging. Wow, that's a big hole. Well, I guess I gotta fill things back in. All right, I better go. It's a couple days later, check it out. Gumi flowers. Aren't they pretty? They got these little like sparkles on them, little speckles. And it shows up on the fruit too. So they look just like that. They smell nice too. Give them a sniff. Yeah, look how prolific these things are. Isn't that amazing? It's Goomy. They really put on a show. Very cool. And because they're fixing their own nitrogen, they grow like mad. I've also got a sea berry over here. It's hanging in there. I believe this is a seedling. And they cannot handle hardly any shade, so they're having a bit of a tough time. And then tucked back behind it, I've got a mulberry. This is actually a true Morus nigra. So I've heard that these are really delicious, and maybe this is the year that it'll actually fruit. Who knows? But it looks like it put on a decent amount of growth last year. And we'll see what happens. I don't know, this apical bud here looks like it's maybe not doing so well. Whoops. Let's get you to focus. Yeah, so that looks like, I don't know, but the buds below it look pretty good. So, it'll probably grow past it. Like this one will probably just grow up. And if they're anything like figs, and I believe they're related to figs, the figs, like, if the bud up here is dead, it'll just die back to the next bud. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna see what other flowers are going on. Ah, of course. Apple flowers. And looks like Fuji's got it in number this year. They're really coming on. Pretty cool. They got a pink tip to them. And then they open up white. And it was about 85 degrees here, so I think this is why all these popped open. And actually, it looks like this is a graft of, let's see, what did I graft over here? Oh, cool, ash meets kernel. So this, well, not this one. These are all ash meets kernel. Awesome. I've been looking forward to having a bunch of these because I had them at a tasting and they're really good. So got a bunch of those, and I believe I grafted some others onto here. Yeah, this is Williams Pry, but it looks like it didn't take. That's another one of my electrical tape screw-ups. So that didn't work out. But there are some other ones on here somewhere. This is what happens when you graft onto the tips. You lose track of everything. Yeah, I don't know. Got some lilacs back here. My wife's been planting these. This is what I'm smelling everywhere. Very nice. And then next to that is a gooseberry. Although, even when they are flowering, you wouldn't even know. I think they're like, yeah, you can see them back here. They're green. But gotta be careful. Gooseberries are vicious. Be careful, Daisy. And then here's my multi-graft apple. Got like, let's see. Well, golden gem in the middle. And then I've got like golden russet, Zabergal Rainet, Roxbury russet. So lots of other stuff on here. It doesn't look like any of these are flowering. No. And I've heard that golden russet has like a tip bearing habit, which I actually don't see going on this year. So maybe this is just a growth year. And it's kind of like, it's not quite horizontal, so it could be just still thinking about it. But this tree is pretty young. Yeah, I mean, it's getting big, but it's still young. All right, let's see what else is out there. Here's a Bartlett pear. Full bloom. I love all these flowers that they put on. Very cool. And I have an Asian pear, a Hosui, right there, which looks like it's past its prime for flowering. And it looks like the tip or it looks like the end of it died off, but it'll come back. And then this is another European pear. can't recall what this was off the top of my head. I'll put it in the description, or I'll put a little thing in here, a little title. This is Hosui, the one I grafted on there. I love how crazy this thing gets with flowering. It's just like, that's all it wants to do. Persimmons are not quite there yet. You know, they're just starting to open up, although I think I see buds on here. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out in a couple days, I guess. I'm hopeful that this will be the year that they all flower. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay. These are Wixen. It's kind of a crabapple. It's an Albert Eder variety. Very good. Very delicious. I love these ones. So, this was my seedling apple. Seedling was down there, and I noticed it was an apple and then grafted on top of that Bramley seedling. And that grew up all the way to, I think it's right here is the graft. And then that's Wixen. And this is all Wixen. That's Iris. Yeah, and Wixen's putting on tons of flowers. Wow. Amazing. And then Bramley seedlings over here. This is another one that's like partial tip bearing, and it put on a few flowers last year. I actually don't see any yet, but it seemed like it was really late in the season. So, oh, here we go. Yeah, see, right at the tip. And it'll do something like, it'll put some right in the middle, but not too many. So this is like I mean, for a couple reasons, this one's an unusual one to prune. I mean, check it out. It's growing at like a 45-degree angle. I don't exactly know why it's doing that, although we do have a wind that goes from the east, so it blows on it. But I don't know. There is a kind of espalier culture that I can't think of the name of it, that you purposely prune it to do this, but this one's just doing it on purpose. I mean, it's doing it by itself. So I don't know, I gotta look that up again and see what I need to do to keep it kind of like happy. But yeah, it looks like we might get a big crop of Wixen this year, and that's really cool because my daughter loves those. They're like, they're unusual. They're like really sweet and really, I think the right word is tart. And then they have like an umami flavor to them. They're really good. So, well worth growing. Iris is messing around with the stinging nettle over there. She's gonna regret that. All right, yeah, I think that's it for the flowers at the moment. Things are really coming on. It's exciting. All right, I'm gonna wander around here, and I'll talk to everybody later.